Alrighty, well, I've been buying a bit of stuff for the van here. Interestingly, I might as well get on with showing you this one. Now, there's a car ventilation fan in there. We've got like a little bit of weather stripping stuff, which I'm sure I'll find a use for in due course. I think you're supposed to basically jam it up in the hole in the top of where your window mounts into your, where your window goes up in there, and then the bottom part sits on the window. I think it's like a little T-piece almost. I saw like a failed one of these systems selling on TV, and yeah, it is. I can see that fairly well. I don't know if the camera can. It's basically a T-piece. Oh man, they've packed this stuff in as tight as possible. Hang on. There you go. It's a T-piece. So that slots up inside and the actual window goes under there. And that's to give a bit of, well, you're supposed to cut it so that one's one side and one's the other side. Now, as I was saying, I saw a failed one of these. They're trying to sell on TV for $20. And there's ones on YouTube that it shows, the videos of the one they were trying to sell for $20. And it was stupid because what it would do is it was just a fan inside, so it would just blow the air around the car and it wouldn't do a damn thing. Well, this one is like an exhaust vent, so I think they've got a picture on it here somewhere. There it is there. So that's your inside and that's your outside, and it sucks air up through there and spits it out. Now, I've got one sitting up there. It's a bit hard to see because of the light behind it. And instead of being $20, first of all, they actually take the hot air out of the car. Second of all, I got them for $2. I'm not fucking joking. So I sort of just kept buying, and I've got 7 of them. They were $5 at a clearance place, and she said, we get so much stuff in that we just keep dropping the prices till we get rid of them. So $2 each. A shear fan alone from the electronic supplier I get it from there, they'd be cheaper from eBay, but the electronic supplier I get them from, they're like $15 at least. I don't even think they're $10 anymore for fans. I think they're $15 each. You probably get them off eBay for, something like $3 or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised because you get stuff very cheap on eBay that's, an Alibaba and that imported direct from China. But this is basically it here. And there's your vent underneath, and that's your one there. And for $2, I don't think you can go wrong. I also have one of those little USB speakers, like the Bluetooth speaker, rather, that charges with USB. And the speaker is shit, basically, but the battery's still good. And if this is a 3.7 volt fan, I could possibly run one of these at night to ventilate any of my humid breath out of the vehicle at night, running off the battery on this Bluetooth speaker that has since died but still has a good battery. The speaker's just not loud enough and it just vibrates like hell. But yeah, that's a better look at it away from bright sunlight. And yeah, the other one's running. You can actually hear it. And I have myself, well, I've got some incense here, and we shall light the incense up. I'll show you it working. Hang on, I'll just light this incense. I've been buying a lot of little bits and bobs lately. Too much time on my hands and too much cheap Chinese stuff, and well, I've got to stock the van out with stuff, don't I? So, oh, it'd be real good if this fucking stove lighter would actually work out in the outside without blowing out. That's another thing. My stove lighter broke, so I got another stove lighter. There we go. There we go. Alrighty. Should be able to see that smoking away. Yeah, it's definitely working. It's probably hard to see, like the smoke's going right up there. But I put it down, I was putting my hand in front of the panels and it stops the damn panel. I put the incense up, by hell, it's definitely blowing it down. My gosh, the smoke on the incense is coming down about here somewhere. Now, of course, I haven't put the weather stripping in, but I'm just experimenting with these. And I'll probably take them all out just to see that they all actually work. Not that I want a refund, but I just want to, you know, just check they all work. So, yeah. So, anyway, I'll show you what else I got. Fuck. Yoink. Just stick that on the back of the tow hitch there. She'll be good. It's all chrome aluminium there. So yeah. I also went out and got a couple other bits and bobs. I went to a place that they're sort of, it's strange. They have a lot of sales, and they're actually a company that's bordering on failing. And I think they've had a refinance to avoid bankruptcy and everything. But they sort of, it's like a tacky-ish looking store, but they're trying to sell upmarket stuff. And for whatever reason, they used to sort of be popular in the 90s, and they've just sort of really faded in popularity. But I went and got, not rugs, but throws. Now, this is part of there's a guy who is essentially the Hitler of the home improvement community, we'll call him. And he just appears on all these damn shows, and got little fluffy balls on the end. But that's a throw there. It's actually acrylic. It looks like it's wool the way it's done, but it's acrylic, and my gosh, it is bloody beautiful and lovely and warm. $60 marked down to $25. And another one, this is a cotton-based one. I'm pretty certain this is made in India. Surprise, surprise. If you look around, you can get quite a lot of cotton stuff that's made in India, not China. And in a way, I'd rather support someone other than China. And it's hard to see, but that right there says made in India. So that's a cotton one. That's a bit of a fashion at the moment. It's like a dimpled square thing. $40 marked down to $15. So yeah, I thought it might be a nice idea to not keep using the 1970s blankets, and let's face it, one of them's actually an old army blanket that I've got that's probably out of the bloody 60s. Another one I think's out of the mid-70s or late 70s. And they're all getting covered in cat fur, so I thought maybe I should get something different for the van. Now, these aren't full-size blankets, but they're big enough. They're a throw, and between the two of them, I should be right. But it'd just be nice to have something that's not necessarily covered in bloody cat hair, and you know, less, not as old as I am or older. You know what I'm saying? Not full of bloody dust mite and who knows what else. I think inevitably, I am really considering to give myself more storage. I wasn't going to do it initially, but I'm going to have the mattress really tall, and it may actually be, I've got to be careful because you get condensation on the windows, possibly. I'll put Reflectix over it, but yeah, she might be almost lined up to the window or within a couple of inches of the bottom of the window, maybe 4 inches off the bottom of the window. I sort of have really questioned why I need a massive amount of headspace or why I need to sit up in bed, because a lot of van dwellers, I'm finding out, they don't necessarily sit up in bed and don't need to, and you've got people living in SUVs who don't sit up in bed either. And you know, I've got a little stool that's folds completely flat. You just lift it and it folds flat, and it's got a carry handle sort of built into it, and as you lift it, it just literally just plump, just goes flat. Some of you have seen this little red one, and I can sit that in the back on the floor, and I can sit in it without my head touching the roof, or you know, within half an inch of the roof or something like that. So if I want to sit down, I can sit on that, or I can sit in the blasted seats here. So just to give myself more storage, and because, you know, when you sleep and you don't exactly sleep standing up, I'm probably going to have the mattress up fairly high, and it'll give me more room underneath. So in that, I'll have vision out of that, but it might, you know, be a little bit restricted. And let's face it, I've driven trucks before, and they have these built in, except theirs are like fucking, you know, this tall and bloody neck 6 inches wide or something. And I know the value of having these dome mirrors. And I thought, I'm not sure if I want some yet. And I thought, oh, let's face it, it's only a matter of time and you're going to buy it. And these were $2.50, so I thought, oh, bugger it. So I bought them. And although I usually like bits of plywood screwed in, it's a bit hard to go past the perfect plastic shelf for $2. So I got that for $2. So yeah, that in a nutshell is most of what I've got there. Oh yes, I almost forgot. Now, I saw one of these a while ago, and there we are. It's a camp table, and this sits 70 centimetres. It's 2'4" off the ground. And I think this is supposed to look like aluminium. It may actually be steel. It just says polyethylene and steel is the materials used. So this will be polyethylene, high density polyethylene, like your wheelie bins. And that's your legs under there. They don't fold out from the middle. They actually overlap. So this one, yeah, folds from this side right down, and that one folds from that side right down. So they're sort of, yeah. Get a little jigger here that makes them click in. And a bit of bracing there, as you can see. Not bad, $19. I'd seen other ones, and they were $40 and stuff, and they're a bit bigger, but they're not a great deal bigger. And I thought, fuck that, I'm not paying $40. I got that for 19. So anyway, it's just me a few little bits and bobs. You know, I always like to give someone a kick, and I know some of you guys absolutely love hearing it. 2.7 litre. There's a lot of people rant on about mileage, but the mileage in this is about 24 miles to the gallon. And you know, I can get 24 miles to the gallon overtaking big rigs, and I've had this thing going 70 miles an hour overtaking big rigs, and fill it up and it's 24 miles per gallon. My gosh, for a vehicle built in 2002, that's pretty good. That's surprisingly good. And just thinking a little bit about somebody else, you know, the drive's about 45 miles an hour, and this fat guy drives about 45 miles an hour with an engine double the size of this. And I was just thinking, I could probably go past him with this thing going 70 miles an hour, because I know it goes 70 miles an hour because I've been driving at 70 miles an hour with this thing. And if I went past his machine at 70 miles an hour while he was doing 45 miles an hour, I'd probably damn near suck the fiberglass roof off the thing. and still get probably about a quarter of the fuel consumption that he's getting. Maybe 1/6 of the fuel consumption, because his engine is actually more than double the size of this engine. I think he's got about a 5.7 litre in that thing. 5.7 litre, and you're going 45 miles an hour, and that's the best you can do because of steering issues. Fuck me drunk. Oh man, I've got the best this, that, what are you talking about, bro? My engine's like half the size, and I can drive this thing at, like, you know, an extra half the speed again, faster than what you can drive yours. And I'm getting like 1/6 of the fucking fuel usage. Oh, I'll tell you what. You know, it's right. It's a good idea to have a smaller van versus a big one. And it really seems it's only Americans that put V8s in vans, and that's just the honest truth. No one else sort of does that. You know, a lot of these other ones, you know, like Japanese, 1 litre, like, not 1 litre, 1.8, which I think is like the minivan Vince one, the Suzuki APV, that's 1.8. And you got like a Ford one, which is 2 litre. And you got, I think there's another Ford one that's 2.5 litre. No, it might be the Toyota. Yeah, the Toyota's 2.5 litre. The Hi-Ace, I think. And this is 2.7. And then you get to American stuff, and you start with the fucking Chrysler at 3.3 for your Voyager or your Grand Voyager. And, you know, you get 3.3, and you know, then you work your way up to the big engines in the Ford Econo lines and all that sort of stuff. You know, and forget what the blooming, I think the Transit might be 2.5. Might be 3, I can't remember, but the Transit's a bloody big machine. We don't have the Transit Connect. I think England does. I know America does, but we have never had it. And all Transit vans we have are fucking huge, and there's no such thing as Transit Connect. I've just seen some of those 2010 ones on YouTube, and like, I've never seen those headlights and that grille. Just never seen it, ever. The only small vans we get are all these bloody Citroens and Renaults and all this bullshit, you know. So Ford could probably do good selling that, because some of those Renaults and Citroens, they're heaps of shit, parts-wise. If you've seen the way they build the engines and they pack them in under the hood, fucking they're impossible. You've got to take half the vehicle apart to change the fucking, you know, to do something simple like fucking change a belt or an alternator or, you know, it's ridiculous, you know. You want to change the belt, you start with taking the fender off, you know. They're just fucking maniac fucking designs that are so packed in. And of course, they're not made for fucking bad roads or anything. There's a guy around here who does a big long courier run out to all these 2-horse towns, and he's had a Transit, and I know you Yanks don't like Transits very much, but they're not European junk. They're actually originally built with car engines and car suspension, and these things, they had Mini Cooper S's. I've seen footage from like 1968, 1971 of Transit van racing against a Mini Cooper S, and it was keeping up with it. And it's like, fuck man, the guy's like full fucking spinning it out, you know. A lot of these are actually rear-wheel drive. I think all of them are rear-wheel drive. Still today, they're rear-wheel drive. There's a guy who, like I say in this courier, he's got one that he's got that's about 7 years old, and he's done, it's fucking huge. It's like 550,000 miles or something in it. I think it's 5 years old. It's done 550,000 miles. Original engine. 750,000 Ks he's done in this thing, whatever that converts out to in miles. It's 750,000 kilometres. He's gone through 3 rear differentials, because it's a rear-wheel drive, and I think 2 tail shafts with it, 2 transmissions, but he's on the original engine, and it's a diesel, and like the fucking miles this guy puts in is astronomical. And the fact he's still using the same engine is a fucking miracle. Like even all these other Fords we got, the Australian built ones, the Australian design, they're not going to last that long. Fuck me drunk, you know, they give up about 400,000. Some people run them to 500,000. A lot of people apparently run them to 500,000, but I've had two now that have basically made it to 400,000 and been, you know, given up. And now I've got the G6 dedicated propane that's it's got 190. And I've just ticked over to 191 with that. I've done the first 600-700 miles and that so far, and I've had it for 8 weeks, I think, something like that. Anyway, it's just my little rant about all the vans.